crafty people, this is Ellen with EGI Designs, and today we're going to make a couple of sympathy cards using the Gina K Designs Modern Roses set, so stay tuned. Welcome to the channel. Today we are making sympathy cards and we're using Gina K products. I did pick out, I have the Wild Lilac and the Ocean Mist for the cardstocks, and I have the ink cubes of the Ocean Mist, Wild Lilac, and then I have the spruces for the greens. I do want to use this Modern Roses set, and it is a layering set. So you can do the flowers and then the leaves. I haven't figured out the sentiments yet. I just kind of want to judge the size, but I did pull out a bunch of different sets that I have. So I've like the with Sympathy. On this one I really like the Thinking of You. So we have lots of choices there. But let's get started on the first part anyway. And we'll see where that takes us. So I have my mini Misti here. These I'm actually going to cut out with, I have the master layouts too. I have the stitched rectangle and then the shadow layer. So I will be cutting these out with the shadow layer. And I will, once I do the stamping, I'm going to use the stitched layer so then we can like frame out and figure out how we want to do that. So I will link everything that I'm using today in the description box, and those are affiliate links, and chopping through those links really helps out me and my channel, and I appreciate that. So let's take this out. So this is the Modern Roses set, and I really like it. It's kind of abstract sort of a thing, so it's always hard to get those big stamps off the acetate. Alright, so I need those pieces out of the way. So what I want to do first, I just want to look on here for placement so that I can make sure, like the cat hair has joined me here. Sorry about that. So that everything fits on here. So I just want to make sure and check how that's going to go together. This one's always kind of weird to, I always forget. I think like that. Alright, but we know that this will fit. So let's see. I just have a panel in here. It's 5.5 by 4.25, just to start. We can do the Ocean Mist first. I will speed this up a little bit because I have an ink cube. It's going to take a little while to get this inked up properly. Okay, that's all done. I'm going to wash this off and go with the other color. I just have to find my tidy towel. I was doing work downstairs and I had a bunch of stuff and I don't know if I brought it up. Hold on a minute. Alright, crisis averted. Tidy towel found. Yeah. I brought it up and put it in a special place, and you know how that goes. So I have my tidy towel, and I just keep it in a DVD case, and I find that to be really helpful. So we're done with this one. Alright, so this one I'm doing the Wild Lilac. Make sure this is dry. Alright, so I'll ink this one up again. And probably speed this one up too. All right, that one is all set. Except I just noticed that there's something here. That was leaving a little white spot there, so give it a shot. See if we can fill that in. It's so weird, just that like little spot. You gotta push a little bit harder. Now I'm trying to blend in where I redid that, so it doesn't have a harsh. Alright, we'll go with that. Like this quick. And just so you know, if you're not familiar, that reds and purples will stain your stamps, but that is okay. It does not hurt them one bit, and it's the sign of a well-loved stamp. Alright, so let's figure this one out. And it's kind of artsy, so it doesn't have to be exact. Alright, so this one we will do the spruce. And we can start out with the light, and then we can use a little bit of the medium for some shading. Okay, so one thing you can do is you can, let me grab my green brush here. And I don't know what's on here, so scrub it off on a paper towel and you are good to go. But you can always use your brushes to just add a little bit on here and it will be really soft. And it just gives it a little bit more shading wherever you put the ink. And it's really soft, so it just kind of blends in together and you don't get those harsh lines. Okay. Yep. And it's a way to make it look less flat, so you get some variation of color there. So here's our first panel, and that's all set. And then because we didn't move our stamp, we can just go ahead and put this one back in. So I will just check, but we're good to go. So I'll just go through and do the same thing on this one. And you can see here, because this only has the light, and then this one has the edges of with the medium. So that just, you know, it really helps it pop. This one, because the flowers are so light, I'm gonna try a little bit of dark spruce. Be brave here. Okay, all set with that. All right, so we have our 2 panels, and let's see, just trying to think about the sentiment and all that. That's going to change how we frame out. I do like this with Sympathy, but we might need something smaller. And cover that up, or that's going to be a problem. I feel like this is too, unless we scooch this, but I feel like this is too condensed. Like, is that the word? For this, and I feel like I'd want something more like this one, maybe. This is in the Beautiful Butterfly set. So just playing with the design. Yeah, see, I think this balances a little bit better. So you can get an idea with that. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these out, and I'm gonna scooch this so that there's a little space on the bottom, and I will cut out the the layering panels as well, and then I will be right back, and we can start putting the card together. I've decided that I'm going to heat emboss the sentiments on here, and I'm going to use a gray pigment ink, and this one is Morning Mist, and this is the VersaFine Clair. I think the gray will be softer since it's a Sympathy card, and this is a pigment ink, so it will stay wet longer, so we can do the heat embossing. So I've got my sentiment on here, just trying to make sure it's all lined up. Okay, so when you're heat embossing, you need a sticky ink, you need embossing powder, and you need anti-static powder. So this you put on your project so that the embossing powder will only stick to where you want it and not all over your project. So you want to get everything ready. I'm gonna take the lid off my powder, and you need to have like a little powder catch also. Alright, so I'm gonna stamp this. I'm going to do it a couple of times just to darken it up a bit. It looks like my stamp actually has a cut in that. Yeah, on the G, it doesn't meet. So I will have to call customer service about that. And sometimes that happens during the manufacturing process, and usually you can contact the company and they will fix it for you. But in the meantime, we shall continue on. Alright, so then you take this off and you put the powder on, and it'll turn where you put the ink cloudy, if you can see that. We got good coverage. Let's do the T. Okay, so I am going to set this aside, and I will do the other one at the same time, because we can, once you have the powder on there, you can actually let it sit for a little bit. You have enough time to be able to do an additional cards, and then you can just heat them all at the same time, which saves you time. Oh, I've made a mistake. I broke my own rule. I didn't put the anti-static powder on, so we'll have to hope that we don't get too much extra powder around. When it's clear powder, it's not too big of a deal, but if you're using a different color, then you would definitely know that there's black speckles or whatever all over your project. Not too bad. I think we got lucky on that one. And sometimes too, if the background ink is still wet, the powder will stick to that. So you always want to make sure that the background stamping is good to go too. Alright, put the cap on, prevent a mess. And then I just take a Swiffer cloth and Swiffer up any of the powder that's around, because that makes a huge mess also. Alright, move this out of the way. Alright, now we get to heat it. So this is the heat gun, and it's got 2 levels on it. To do heat embossing, you want to put it on the highest level. So I'm going to turn that on. It's going to heat up, and you want to let it heat for a little bit before you put it to the paper, and that will help with the warping and things like that. And it's kind of loud, but I'll turn it on and show you how it's done. And you can see in there that the heating element is heating up, so We are good to go. And you want to just be careful. As soon as you see it change, you want to move off of the area. So that side is changing already. You can see it. And then you just tilt it in the light and make sure you got it all and that it's, see, you can see it's shining now. And if you overheat it, it will liquefy and sink into your paper. So you want to make sure that you just melt it and then are done. Okay. You can see how nice and shiny that is now. And I like the gray. I think it, you know, it isn't as striking, you know, with the, against the background with like how black would be. It just kind of looks really nice. Okay, so let those cool, then we can assemble. So we'll let those do their thing, and I'll show you how to make, I'm going to use Gina K Craft as my card base. So since I need to make two, I can do a trick. And what you can do, this is an 8.5 by 11 paper, and we're gonna make two A2 size card bases. So you would go to 4 1/4 and you would score. So this saves you a step, and then you come over and turn that in at 5 1/2. Then you would cut. So now we only have to score once and cut once. So that's a little way to save some time. What I like to do is there's a ledge here, and I use that to help line up my card base. And then you use a bone folder to burnish that. Okay. Okay, so now we have our two card bases. Let's get putting these together. I think I'm just going to use, I was trying to think about popping it up, but I think I want to just kind of keep it, you know, chill since the occasion. So I'm just going to use my tape runner. And put that on here. And it is a little warpy from the heat embossing, so. So there's our first one. My tape runner is right at the end, so it's like, I don't want to do it anymore. Give it a nice back rub at the card spot. Alright, I'm gonna put these on. And I like the amount of border that the Master Layouts 2 gives for this. Here's our first card. All right. I think we're good. I was contemplating putting some bling or something on here, but again, the occasion, so I think less may be more in this situation. So let me give you a look. Very simple, just elegant, you know, and pretty easy to make. So there you have it. Here's our project for today, and again we use the beautiful butterflies, use the thinking of you, and we use the modern roses for that. Again, I list everything in the description box. Come check me out over on Facebook. I post crafty sales, videos, cards, and all that stuff. And if you found value in today's video, I'd appreciate it if you could click on that subscribe button. I would love to have you. So yeah, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And until next time, take care. Hey again, I just wanted to give you some bonus footage on how I finished up these cards. So I made little card inserts because I like to do my writing on here and then put them in, because then if I mess up, I only messed this up and I can redo that. So this will fit right in here. This is 3 1/4 by 5, and what I did was there are little roses in here and little individual leaves, so I made one for each color. And then for the With Sympathy, that came from this stamp set over here, and it is called Frame and Flowers 1. So I just wanted to show you how I finished up the cards to get ready to be mailed out. All right, thanks again. Bye. Here are more videos to check out. Thanks so much for watching.